The Sunday Business Page on KDKA TV is brought to you by Stewart Capital Advisors. Experience the power of the Piper.
Thank you for spending part of your Sunday morning with us. It has been a difficult, sometimes awkward time for California University of Pennsylvania, its students, its faculty, and its former president. Dr. Angelo Armenti was fired by the state system of higher education and the Board of Governors back on May 16th. The organization says it had just cause for ousting Dr. Armenti from its position, one that he had held for 20 years. Dr. Armenti says that he may sue, and he spoke with Jon Delano.
Well, it certainly wasn't the way anyone wanted it to be, but the longtime president of California University of Pennsylvania is out of a job. Dr. Angelo Armenti's 20-year tenure ended last month when the university fired him. But Dr. Armenti says the school never gave him adequate notice or even reason that was called for in his employment package. He joins us now on the Sunday Business Page with his thoughts on the recent events that have taken place at the university. Dr. Armenti, thank you so much for being here on the show. We appreciate it.
I'm delighted to be with you, John. Could I begin by saying thank you on behalf of Barbara and me for the wonderful support and encouragement we've received from students, faculty, staff, townspeople. To a person, they've encouraged us to fight this, and we're going to, in spite of the way that we were treated. We think we were treated abominably. And I want everyone to know that everything I did in 20 years was designed to benefit the students of Cal U. I never wavered from that. And I'm very, very honored to have been the president at Cal for 20 years. It's a wonderful organization.
Well, it certainly changed under your auspices. I don't think there's anybody who could, in a fair way, not say that California University is so much better today than it was 20 years ago. And I'm sure that, you know, as we review what happened here, I think that's what's most perplexing, is that people say, hey, Cal U today is a gazillion times better than it was when you got here. What went wrong?
My plan was to have Cal U be a gazillion times better than it was when I went there. It was already good, and I wanted to make it better. When you say what went wrong, I can't provide that answer because I was not privy to the decision process that resulted in my being fired with very little notice, as you have already noted. I think what went wrong is that the direction in which I was taking the university was found offensive to some people higher up in the PASHI organization. That's the only thing I can think.
Well, maybe we should be clear to folks that unlike a lot of institutions, California University, you have your own board, but you really report, you're part of the higher education system in Pennsylvania.
Correct.
So you report to higher authority.
That's
as
correct.
It is.
We have a local council of trustees who have been incredibly supportive for 20 years. And then I actually report to a chancellor who reports to a board of governors in Harrisburg that controls all 14 of the state system schools, not just California. So that is correct. That is the structure.
Well, the allegation is that money was misspent, whether it was on a big center at Cal U or on other aspects of the university. Right. How do you plead on that?
Well, I will certainly agree that the money was spent. Every nickel that was spent was approved first by our trustees and also by the Board of Governors. And in particular, there were allegations of money laundering, if you can imagine, that went public with that so-called audit. Right. And it turns out that that financial arrangement was approved by the state system attorneys in 2003, 2004, 2005, all the way up to 2011. So presumably it was legal all those years, well, and now suddenly they're calling it illegal.
Well, if I remember correctly, it's 50 allocated?
No. The $59 million was the price tag on the Convocation Center.
Okay.
I think there were. I'll let them make whatever allegations they want, and I will respond to them when they make them. I'm talking about an allegation that the way we did our privatized housing was unlawful. That was the word that was used in the audit. And it clearly was not unlawful if the state system attorneys, who don't report to me, and they don't even report to the state system, they report to the general counsel in the governor's office. Right. If those attorneys, in fact, say they approved it, it was all transparent, all the money's accounted for, to take a cheap shot, basically, and say it's unlawful without giving me an opportunity to respond, that's un-American, I think.
The way in which this transpired, I think, left a lot of us shaking our heads. You essentially were summarily told to get out of your office. and you had to get a court injunction to essentially get your things. Where does all that stand right now?
You describe it accurately. Where do I begin? With the issue with the office, you may know that the Board of Governors has a policy that describes how presidents are hired and fired. Right. And according to that policy, they have the right to terminate a president at any time, provided they give them 6 months written notice. They gave me 5 minutes verbal notice. In fact, I was summoned to Harrisburg thinking that I was going to get a report on a complaint that I had filed against the chancellor. And instead of telling me what happened with the complaint I had filed against the chancellor, in a 5-minute meeting, they said either you retire or be fired. And I said, well, if those are my choices, thank you very much, fire me. I said, you'll regret it. This will not withstand public scrutiny, and I'm going to sue you. So. And
in fact, that's what's happened?
Well, not the suit hasn't happened, no.
But they have, initially they did not want to give you your six months of severance.
Correct.
They've now said that you're going to get that 6 months of severance?
That's what I read in the paper. I haven't seen anything yet.
You haven't seen any of that money yet?
No, I haven't even seen a letter from them saying that I'm going to get it.
I mean, the whole thing sounds very strange. Is this a personality clash between you and the chancellor? Do you think that's part of what's going on here?
I think that may be part of it. Actually, if you look at the attempt to evict me from my office, they hand me notice at 4:30 saying I must be out by the close of business, which is at 4 o'clock. They were going to send people in to actually move my stuff out that day. I was actually confined to house arrest. They actually gave me a document that said that I had to stay in my residence and I couldn't go into any other buildings and so on. So I asked myself, that sounds like overkill. They already fired me. They've already damaged my reputation that I worked very hard on for 40 years, 20 at Villanova and 20 here. There's a great anger there that I think calls out for an explanation. Why are they so angry with me? What have I done?
Well, I want to ask you 2 quick questions.
Sure.
We're running out of time here.
That's right.
If I can ask first, you're planning on filing a lawsuit. Any idea when that might happen?
I'm talking with an attorney. In fact, I'm talking with more than one attorney. So stay tuned. Invite me back. I'll tell you all about it.
You know we'll have you back. And the final question, Dr. Armenti, what do you consider your greatest success at California University?
I think my greatest success was convincing the people of southwestern Pennsylvania that they were better than they thought they were. The thing that struck me the most when I came was that the people seemed whipped to me, perhaps because of the collapse in the steel industry. The economy was never good in Western PA, long before the recent thing. And I saw great potential in them, and we've loved being in Western PA. We've been here for 20 years. But we're saying our farewell, but we're not going away.
Your biggest regret?
My biggest regret? I don't think I have any. I wanted to live my life without regrets, and John, I can't think of a single one.
Well, Dr. Angelo Armenti, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. This is an ongoing saga.
Invite me back.
You know we'll have you back to tell us more. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Great being with you.
Thank you, sir. We'll have more of the Sunday Business Page in just a few moments. Stick with us.
The Sunday Business Page.